Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Thursday. Can you actually believe it's Thursday already? I can't. I don't know where this week has gone. Let me just see if I can't get it so this light is not. I guess that's okay. So I hope everybody's doing well. Tonight, I decided after going through my list of Christmas cards, I know I've been not creating them for a while. The alarm for medicine. um, I've been creating Christmas cards for a while, but I actually sold some. So when I made my list of who I need to send cards to, I found that I didn't have enough. So for all of us last minuters that need Christmas cards, but you don't have a lot of time to spend, like for me, we have appointments just about every day of the week. I decided to create these cards. Now, it can be as simple as just one layer on the front and a plain inside. Hi, Karen. Oh, no, thank you. I'm glad you're here, though, Karen. Or just adding a few elements to the front of the cards and then just stamping on the inside. And I don't know why that's doing that with the camera. That's weird. And then just something a little bit more stepped up. And then an added label on the front. And then again on the inside. Hey, Fran, I kept them fairly simple. Okay. And how did I do these? I actually took an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of basic white cardstock. And that's what we're starting with. And you can actually do this with any stamp set. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas, but I'm doing it for Christmas. And I'm using the Leaves of Holly stamp set and matching dies. Okay. And then for inks, I chose Soft Succulent, Mossy Meadow, Real Red, Merry Merlot, and Old Olive. And my Old Olive is starting to dry out a little bit. I have my refills ordered, but they have not come in yet. So, let me show you how we make these cards and cut up the cardstock. So I'm going to start with the holly leaves. Let me just see, where is my cleaner? My room is a mess, by the way. I haven't had a chance to clean up or anything in here. All right, so I'm going to start over here in this corner, and I am just going to ink up, and I'm going to start with Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to just ink and stamp. Let's put this one this way. And we're going to do all the Mossy Meadow first. So I'm just going to turn it. And this is how I made all 5 of those cards. Just with stamping 1 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And we're going to stick with all one color for now. And I do have the pad underneath because we're using photopolymer. And they actually, the stamps stamp much nicer when you have a foam base. Let's do this one this way. And you don't have to, you can stamp them however you want. You don't have to follow my pattern. I'm just batching them up so we pretty much cover this piece of cardstock. Let's put this one here. Not leaving too much white space. All right, so that is the mossy meadow. So all I did was added my mossy meadow leaves randomly around the cardstock. Now I'm going to take the second leaf. Let's just get that off. I'm going to grab the second leaf, which is a little bit bigger, but it still has the open spaces. So we're not really covering this with, lots of ink. And now this is the old olive. And like I said, my old olive really needs to be refilled. And now we're just going to add this leaf the same exact way. And we're going to just add them all around. Put one here. I got to jump back up to this corner here. So very, very simple. And like I said, you can do this with any stamp set. Let's see, what did I do with it? I did the same technique using the artistically inked and created thank you cards the same way. Okay, so you can use any stamp set. Doesn't have to be Christmas cards. If you need to create your birthday cards for the year, you can pick out a stamp set and do it exactly like this. So we're just adding our old olive. Like I said, my old olive needs some ink. Let's take this one here. All right. So there is our old olive. Hi, Dawn. It's funny. I was just reading a post. Somebody made a post about watching videos and that she disliked when the person doing the video said hello to everyone who popped in. And I'm sorry, but I really do have to, if I catch you pop in, I have to say hello. All right. So now I'm going to grab this stamp, and this is from Nature's Prints. It's just a little wheat type stamp, and I'm actually going to use the soft succulent with this stamp. And now we're just going to add it again to our bunches of leaves. And we're just going to add them in and around. Let's get this one over here. And I'm actually going to do it stamping and stamping off in some places. So I'm just turning and stamping. That time I'm not going to get that stem too much. So again, it's just a matter of filling in some space. And I have to be careful not to rock my stamp. You know how I love rocking my stamp. I'm going to put one here. And whenever you do this, of course, it's not going to come out the same way each and every time. So it'll be different. Hey, Dale. You fell asleep. I wish I could fall asleep. I've been up since 4:30. Don't ask me why. All right. Now we're going to use the berries. This is the shadow part of the berry. And this is the berry color itself. Now, mind you, I have my Peace and Joy for one of our cards already set up on the other side of the block. But I'm going to do the dark shadow of the berries first because it's easier to see when I need to stamp the berry color. And we're going to put it right in the center of these leaves. This one, let's put this way. And I want to change it around a little. We don't want them all in the same direction. Let's put this one here. And I'm just giving one bunch of berries to each set of leaves. And this is the Merry Mallow. All right, so now all our leaves have our berries. She was asleep by 6. Aw. And we're going to pull out our real red, and that's the color we're going to make the berries. And I'm going to ink this up. Now it's just a little easier. I'm going to stand over it to line it up to get a good stamped berry. Now, if you wanted to go even a little further, you could actually use some Wink Estella and add some glitter to your berries. But we're just going to leave them just like they are. All right, so now we have our berries, our leaves. Hey, Kathy, how are you, honey? And everything is stamped. Just going to make some room and pull in our cutter. Let's pull it out here. Now, with our 5 cards, I made 1, 2, 3. 3 of the cards are landscape. 2 of the cards are portrait. And I got all of them from this one piece. So our first cut is going to be our portrait cards. And we're going to cut it at 3 5/8. I just want to make sure that I'm saying it right, and I am. And we're going to cut right through our stamped images, okay? Now this one is 4 7/8. So we're going to take our 3 5/8 wide, and we're going to cut it at 4 7/8. And then we want to cut this one also at 4 7/8. And I turned it so I can get rid of most of this white piece. And we're going to just throw that in the trash. So now we have 2 card fronts. We're going to take this piece that I said is already, it needs to be trimmed down actually. It's not exactly 4 7/8, but I'll show you how much comes off. This is the piece that you'll cut off. So to get it down to 4 7/8. And then we're going to cut it down, cut each piece to 3 5/8. So that's 1, 2, And then we have to cut this one down. We need 3 5/8, so we'll take 1/8 of an inch off here, and then I'm going to just turn it, get it to 3 5/8, and take 1/8 of an inch off on this side. So we just stamped one 8.5 by 11, and we actually now have 5 card fronts. So let's decide how we want our cards. All right, we'll do this one. Big decision, right? We'll do it that way. I need one that I want to stamp the sentiment on, so we can use that one. And okay, so we'll do them just like that. All right, so here's our 5 card. Thanks, Kathy. So here are our 5 card fronts. Now, I did run out of real red, and I changed this. This is our simple card. And I had to change to Poppy Parade because I ran out of real red cardstock. So, let's just put that aside. I have a basic card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. And I'm going to put a layer that is, and if I could grab it, and I'll have all the dimensions posted tomorrow. 5 1/4 by 4, and then I'm going to back my stamped layer with a 5 by 3 3/4. Now, I said we would use this one, and I want to emboss my Christmas wishes. And I think on this one, I'll put Christmas wishes up here at the top. So let me just grab my stamp again. And I'm going to grab some Versamark and ink up. And we're going to put Christmas wishes right up here in the corner. Hopefully it's straight. I didn't even check. And we're going to emboss it in gold. So let's just sit there. All right, so we're going to be a little loud for a second. Hey, Kay. Thank you. Thanks, Dawn. While that's heating up, I just want to there we go. All right, so we're just going to emboss this quick. What a difference a new Versamark stamp makes when it's nice and... Oh, no. I just dumped my embossing powder in my lap. How about that? I got embossing powder all over. All right, let me just wipe my hands off here quick. I have to pull out the vacuum. All right, so now we're going to just layer this up. And I am actually going to put a line of seal around each of the edges here because my glue gun really wasn't heated up completely. And it's going to warp, it's warped a little bit. So let's just line this up. And all we're going to do, easy peasy, nice, simple, quick card in case you need one. All right, I'm going to open my new one. Don't have the patience for that today. And we're going to lay it down on our second layer. And this was 5 1/4 by 4-inch layer. And then we're just going to add it to the front of the card. Make sure I have it on the right way. And I do, thank goodness. All right. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to get that embossing powder off my lap. All right, then I'm going to take some real red rhinestones and just add a few rhinestones to the front of this card. Let's put one here. And here. All right, so just a quick and easy card when you need something really quick. And then for the inside of this card, we said this is going to be our really easy card. I am just going to add a layer of white. This is if you're in a real hurry and you can't really be fussing around with cards, especially since time is running out. And you have a long list. All right, so let's just get this down on the inside of the card. Okay, so really quick first card. Now we still have 4 more fronts. So let's step it up just a little bit. We're going to take some real red, 11 by 4 1/4, and this one is scored at 5 1/2, but I'm not going to do it portrait. I'm going to do it landscape. Now this time we're going to just step it up a little, and I'm going to put a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 layer of real red, and then a layer of basic white, and it should be 5 1/4 by 4. And we're just going to layer these together. Just going to add an extra layer to the front of this card. So we're going to lay this down. And again, it's going to be landscape. And we're just going to layer this right on the front of the card. All right, so now we want our card. We can use this one. Now I'm going to back our stamped piece with a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm actually going to use some seal just in case the glue shows through. Thanks. Hey, Pam, how are you? All right, so we're just going to layer this stamped piece, and then we're going to pop it up onto the front of this card. So you don't have to make it so plain. You can add a few layers, pop it up. The biggest part we finished by stamping one 8.5. Geez, can't even get that one off. 8.5 by 11-inch piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to be layering this with this label, so I think we'll put it this way. And we're just going to center this on the front of the card. I have to pull out my embossing powder again. Oh no. And my Versamark. But this time we are going to stamp it with Season's Greetings. So let's ink this up. And we're going to put this right here in the center. Thankfully, I saved some and it didn't all go out on my lap. But now there's little pieces in it. What a maroon, huh? All right, so that is embossed. Let's heat it up. I think I'm safe to put that away now. Now this frame is actually from the Leaves of Holly. Now when you die cut this frame, you can leave the leaves open like that, or there's a die that you can add to add color behind. And I'm going to add the color. And that is Garden Green. So we're just going to add some glue. I'm just going to dot it around the outside of these leaves. And then I'm just going to add some right here. And just so this doesn't ooze through, I'm just going to pat it down and move it around. And then we're going to just take it and line it up right behind the leaves. All right, so now we have our sentiment label. We can pull our card back in, and I actually just added some glue, and I will just add a little bit of glue to this outside frame. You can always use double adhesive paper. And we're going to just sit this right about here. Just going to hold it down for a second. I know I should have used the tray, but I dropped it when I was putting the lid back on. Hi, Janet. Thank you. Okay, so there we go. Just quick and easy. And let's pull those rhinestones in. And we can add some rhinestones. Oops. At the bottom of this frame. And then let's just add one right about there. So just another quick and easy yet pretty little card. For the inside, we're actually going to stamp it. Let's pull that foam mat back in, and I am going to use the old olive. Since it's running out of ink, it won't be so bold on the inside. And let's see. Yep. So I'm just going to ink up. I'll put one there and one here. And then we'll take the Merry Merlot. And like I said, I like to do my shadow first because it's easier to see. And we'll stamp our shadow. And then we'll grab that real red and create our berries. And look what I did. It's a sand eraser, so it does remove it, but it takes a little bit of work. All right, let's pull in our card base, our inside card. And again, I'm using the seal because I don't want the glue to bleed through. And we can pull in our card. And I'm going to glue it to the inside so I can move it around a bit if need be. Okay, so there is the second card. Oh, yeah, they are very pretty. The dies are really pretty in this set. I think I like it the best for that frame. But it also, it has the outlines of the leaves. All right, so now that is card number 2. So let's jump to card number 3. We'll do another red one. Now this one, I just did it really simple. I have an 11 by 4 1/4, scored it 5 1/2. That's the inside. Oh, this is the outside. Then I have a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 piece of real red. And then I have, I believe this is 5 1/4 by 4, and it is piece of gold, brush metallic gold. If I were you, I would cut something out of the center. I did that actually, I think on this card. See, I actually am using silver, and I cut the frame out of that layer. It just saves. But I'm going to use the whole thing, and I'm going to grab some glue, because when I was making them, I was just doing it pretty quickly. All right, so we are going to lay this down. Make sure it's on there evenly. And then we have to pick. And I think we'll do this one. And we'll lay it down this way. And again, I'm going to use some seal. And lay this right. We're going to put it on here so it's centered. And before I lay this on the front of the card, I'm going to take some of this. Let me get my scissors. I didn't pull them out. The Real Red mini ruffled ribbon. Say that 10 times quick. And I'm just going to cheat. So you can see that these cards could be really put together quickly. And I'm just going to run this right down this side. I could do it on this side, but I don't want to cover up those berries too much. They're already going to get covered when I add the leaves. Okay, so I just added a piece of ribbon. Yeah, you tired? Me too, Em. And we're just going to adhere this right to the front of the card. All right. I see one little piece of paper sticking out. All right, there we go. Okay. So now what I want to do is I die cut one of the leaves and one of the little sprigs. Now I'm just going to add this to the front here just to add a little something. And I also die cut the berries, and this is just plain. I just cut it out of Real Red cardstock, and I'm going to get the shadow part of the berries in the stamp and the Mary Mallow. And I'm actually going to, and I have to look through my stamps here. I'm going to pull it towards me. I am just going to stamp the shadow on this piece. So it looks like a bunch of berries, but it's not on the white cardstock. Okay, so let's grab our leaves, and I'm actually going to just add some glue to the bottom piece. And this time I'm going to put this leaf this way. I don't really want to cover too many of my berries, so we'll put it down this way. If you don't really like it sticking up like that, just take a piece of cardstock, add a little bit of glue, and then we can just tap that under and hold it down. And it'll be glued down for you. And I'm going to do the same thing to this little sprig. This is, I would like to pop this up, but they are pretty tiny. And I'll do this one this way. Then I'm just going to take my berries, and I am going to grab some clear Wink of Stella, and I'm going to just color in right where the shadow creates the berry, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And then we're going to grab a dimensional, and we're going to actually stick this right about here. Now I know the Wink of Stella is not dry yet, so I want to do this as gently as I can. Let's stick that right about there. And grab another length of ribbon, and let's tie a bow. All right. So has everyone seen the new mini catalog or no? If you need a catalog, let me know. I'll put one in the mail for you. The celebration items, I showed you some. I do have another order coming, so as soon as my new order comes, I will show you the other new products. We went over some. I'll show you some others. All right. Let's just stick that bow right under the berries. And again, we're going to grab those really red rhinestones, and let's add a few to the front of the card. Let's put one here, and one here, and one here. So again, quick and easy. Looks really pretty. And you would never know that you did not stamp this individually. So for the inside, where I don't have a sentiment on the outside, I have 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. This is 5 1/4 by 4. And I am going to grab Christmas Wishes and my real red. And we're going to ink this up. And we are going to stamp this right about in the middle. And I'm going to grab my old olive again. Since it is running out of ink, I don't have to stamp off. And we'll put one leaf here. And one leaf here. Grab our inside layer. And lay it down. Grab our card. And lay our okay, so card number 3. Ah, thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Kay. Thank you, thank you. All right, so let's jump to another easy kind of card. And we decided we would use this one for the front. So now I'm using Evening Evergreen. And we're going to start off with our basic layer, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then this one we are going to, that's the inside of my card, layer up with a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we're going to back up our image, and I think it's 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, another simple card, but first we are going to get our image, our stamped piece, and I think I want it this way, so we'll put it this way. And lay it down. This time I'm going to use an evening evergreen open weave ribbon, and just bear with me, my glue dots disappeared. Here they are. So I'm going to add my glue dots to the ends of my ribbon. This is my cheat. Oh, I got one on my finger too. Let me get rid of that. And we're just going to, I want to leave enough space on the bottom for the sentiment. So let's put it right about here. Everybody knows I don't like to wrap my ribbon and then tie my bow, so I cheat and I wrap my ribbon first and then tie my bow. So let me get another length. Okay, you would take your ribbon and hold it between your pointer and your thumb. Take your tail and you're going to wrap it around your middle finger and your pointer, and you're going to lift up your thumb and then hold it back down and keep your thumb there now. And sorry for all the ink that's on my hands. Take your tail, go through your fingers, and then under that piece of ribbon and back through your fingers. So now here's your tail. This loop that you just made, and I want to get that out of the way. This loop here that you just made is what you're going to hook into. So you're going to take your tail and put it in that loop and out through the right. And then just pull it tight. And Emma, I forgot the fork again. I can make little bows with forks. And I keep forgetting. I took my fork out of here and I forgot to bring it back in. So then when you pull it off your fingers, you can adjust your tails so you can get them cut to the length you want them. And you can check your loops. If your loops are crooked, all you would have to do is pull the right hand loop and it'll make the left loop smaller. And then if this one's too big, you just pull that tail. All right, so I'm going to grab another glue dot. And we're going to put this ribbon, let's put it right about here. It's warm in here tonight, so my glue dots are sticky. Now this little frame is also in this set. And we are going to grab our From Our Home to Yours using real red. I did it again. You know what that means. I'll have real red all over everything. All right, so let's ink up and stamp our sentiment. I should have come down just a little bit. And we're just going to pop this up right on the front of the card. And grab some rhinestones, and let's put one there. I'll put one here at the end. Oh, that's crooked. There we go. All right. So that is that layer. So let's pull in our card, and we can now adhere it to the front of our card base. Nope, we want to add it to our evergreen layer. Sorry about that. I wanted that extra layer. Now we can add it to the front of our card. So again, you're welcome, Kay. For the inside, all I have is a layer of evening evergreen and a layer of basic white. And we're going to grab our real red. And what did I do with it? Season's Greetings. And all I'm going to do is stamp it right here at the bottom of the card. Just want to see if I distress the edges. I did. All right. So for this one, I'm going to grab some soft succulent and a dauber. And we're just going to distress the edges since there's so much white. Just want to add a little bit of distress to the edges. And the dauber is the way to do it. Just quick and easy. Bring our layer back in. I want to make sure I have the right card. Add our seal. Oops. Layer it down. And then lay it on the inside of our card. All right, so that is card number 4. One more card. And we have this one here that we went a little bit further on this one. I actually pulled out the textural elements. I'm not even 100% sure if they're even available in the catalog anymore. But I figured they were perfect. I don't know if they were sold out or not. And I'm using Poppy Parade. And I'm just going to color up the berries. And I want to just give this a chance to dry. Now, if you have these, you want to be really careful because the wood elements have a tendency to break easy. So you want to be gentle with them. This is light evening evergreen. And I'm just going to color up the stems. Just like that. And then I am going to take a black marker. You can use your Stampin' Write markers. And I'm just going to add that little dot where the other end of the berry. If you wanted to get a little more crazy, you could add a little white circle for your highlight. And I'm just going to put that aside while it dries. Let's grab our card. Evening Evergreen, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Now we have our layers. Evening Evergreen, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I have silver foil. And like I said, I actually cut my frame out. I forgot to poke these out of my layer. We're not going to notice it. So when we lay down our stamped card or stamped layer, you are not going to be able to tell that you cheated and cut out your frame in the center. Okay. So here's our frame. Then I cut out some evening evergreen and some basic white, and it is 2 3/8 by 1 3/8, and then 2 1/4. It should be 1 1/4, and it is. So we're going to stamp this first, and if you'll remember, it's on the other side of the shadow for my berries. And I'm going to grab some real red. It's actually 3 different stamps. And I am just going to ink this up. And I'm going to put it a little bit more towards the right. So the bow doesn't get in its way. And we're actually going to adhere this to the evening evergreen. Yeah, the light in here is really bad tonight, for some reason. All right, so we're just going to lay this down. We could have actually embossed this in black, but I decided to add an additional layer to the front. And I am going to line this one up. I didn't on my first card. You'll notice it comes over the edge here. This time I want it to come right to this little point here. So it looks just a little bit more even. And then here is that piece I said you could cut out for the back of your leaves. And we're actually going to use this. So I'm just going to dot around. And then lay this down. Okay. And then this piece I actually am going to pop up. But before we do that, let's just get our front on. Evening evergreen, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And you don't have to worry about the sizes. I will have it posted on my blog tomorrow. Not sure what time yet. We have to go for a urine test in the morning. Bill is in cardiac rehab. So we have that tomorrow. So I'm hoping that I can, if I get up early again, that I'll have it done in the morning. All right, so let's layer this on. And decide which way. And I think I will leave it this way. So let's pull our card back in, and I'm actually going to pop this one up onto the front of the card. I have to say, taking these dimensionals off with this little pokey tool has honestly saved them from being all over the place all the time. I used to have them running right through the house. All right, so we're going to just center this on the front of the card. Let's grab our our sentiment, and we're actually going to pop this up too. I'm not worrying about this little edge. It can swing in the wind if it wants. And we're just going to get this. Let's center it. We're going to get those so those berries are peeking out. And we also have our colored berries for this card. I did cut out some evening evergreen and soft succulent sprigs. So we're just going to grab our sprigs. I'm going to add glue to the ends, and I'm going to actually add it right to this end of the sentiment. On this card, we'll notice it a little more. Let's change this. I'm going to move that this way. And then put this one here. And then we'll grab our berries. And I'm just going to run a line down that center. And we're going to add that to the front of the card. Don't push on it too hard. You just want to let that lay because you don't want it to snap. And while that's drying for a minute, we're going to make another bow. Oh no. Well, I hope her car gets better, Karen. Be safe out there. I had car trouble when I was in Pittsburgh, if you remember, and then it happened again to me. So it is now repaired. It was just believe it or not, a loose cable, and we added a different cable. All right, so I just tied another bow. I'm actually going to grab another glue dot, and we're going to add it right here at the end, and that's still wet. And we're going to add our bow. Okay, let's grab those rhinestones. And I'm actually, for this one, I'm just going to add them to these two corners and leave the rest. And then grab the inside. And one more time, let's do those berries. So we're going to get the Merry Merlot. Oops. My fingers have so much ink on them, I'm trying not to get any more. All right, so this time let's just put some berries here. That's the shadow. We'll grab the berries themselves. Thank you, Kay, so much. And I sure do hope everybody doesn't mind me catching up with my things by creating these cards, because I desperately need more Christmas cards. All right, so I am actually going to just put a little bit of green. Oh, God, I got more on my... Just like that. I have more ink on my fingers tonight. There we go. And then we're going to pull in our inside. Add some glue. I hope these berries, the glue is dry. I'm going to be very gentle here, because it probably is not completely dry. I put quite a bit of glue on there to hold it down. All right. So there you go. 5 cards using one 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and stamping your design just like that. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Kay. And I will be back on Sunday with my Simple Saturday, Stepped Up Sunday. I don't even know what the date is. The 8th. You can there's still time to register for my craft box. Thanks, Stu. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you, Betty. Thank you so much. So I'll see everybody on Sunday, unless I get my order, and I'll pop in to show you all my goodies. So have a great rest of your night. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. You're welcome, Kathy.